Okay, so let's talk Blackboard submissions. So every week you'll have certain things due outside of class. Some are mandatory, some are optional. Quizzes, projects, exams. Each of them will have a folder in Blackboard to submit to. So when you do that, you have to get your work into some kind of a digital format. Blackboard accepts. I put that up here. This is the formats that Blackboard. These are the formats that Blackboard accepts. Microsoft Word. Those are your suffixes. PDF files. Okay, and starting this year, actually, they started accepting image files, which is huge, huge. And because so many of you take pictures of handwritten work that you do on with your cell phones, which is great. The only problem was back in the day, Blackboard wouldn't accept JPEG. Now it does, which is fantastic. So what you got to do is get your files into one of these forms. Most students either open up a Word document and just type into it, or they handwrite their documents and then take a picture of it, which is totally fine. That'll be either in Word or JPEG form. So then you get that into Blackboard. Okay, so that's the easy thing. That's and remember, those Blackboard folders disappear 10 a.m. on Fridays, except for the last exam, which is due a little bit earlier. We'll talk more about that in class, but everything else except that exam that's due out of class is 10 a.m. the Friday of the week that things are due. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. So down here, other Blackboard notes. This is pretty important to make a note. Don't print off my documents, add writing to them, and then resubmit them. The reason for that is there's not enough space on those documents to do that with any kind of. I make them. My intention is never to have you print any of my stuff off. My intention is just to give you these resources, and then you can either work on them outside of that document or on paper or whatever. But I never intend for you to print anything in my class because it's too expensive. COCC charges, I don't know how many, 15 cents a page to print. I don't expect you to print anything. So please don't do it unless you want to. If you want to print them, that's totally fine, but then you keep that and you do your work on a separate page and then submit that separate work. Okay? There's a thing called submission text in Blackboard. Don't use that. I can't add comments to that, so please don't even bother with that. This is a big one, and this is going to be. I think it's going to become a big one the more people use cell phones to submit. Make sure that whatever you submit is one document, not multiple. So if you're working in a Word doc, that's not a problem at all. Word docs, they automatically save as one document. You save it, there's one file name. If you take a bunch of pictures of your work, each one of those is its own file, so you need to be able to combine those into one file with multiple pictures. I can show you how to do that, and I can show you some apps that do that for you. Generally, you have to change them to PDFs, which is totally fine. But just realize that don't submit multiple documents. It's too hard to grade multiple documents in Blackboard. It's way, way harder than just having multiple pages in front of you in reality, because I can only look at one page at a time. Also, make sure that they're not sideways, upside down. I end up just printing those and then using a Blackboard rainy day coupon, which we'll talk more about in class. So just make sure that they're oriented correctly and there's only one document. Don't give me any comments unless you want to. Some students leave me comments, but I can't add comments to your comments. So that's the reason that. And it says, please don't deliver hard copy to me unless we've talked about it. Generally speaking, I'm trying to minimize paper trails, not make it more. So those are the big ones. Those are the big ones. Here are some less common but just as important ones. I put a couple examples of brilliantly completed or terrible format. I'm going to go ahead and click on these. Let's see if they still work. I think there's one. There's a beautiful exam, typed up, clear. I mean, this student definitely went above and beyond using colors and highlighting and things like that. He also included some of the questions, which I didn't ask him to do. I never expect you to include the questions, but I can read. I mean, this is just gorgeous. One document, gorgeous. I can read the whole thing. Here's another one. Same exam, same exact exam. It's turned sideways. It's tiny. Now, it actually isn't tiny in reality. It's just that the picture that was taken was taken far enough away so that it looks tiny. Also, this person, I think, took a picture of this in the dark, because cameras work really well with light. And I want you to use your camera if you want to use your camera, but just make sure that you've got enough light to actually see what we're taking a picture of. Okay, so just like I said, if I can't read it, I won't grade it. And this is one thing that we'll talk more about on the FAQ page. I encourage students to work together. I love it when students work together. It's one of my happiest moments in teaching is watching students work together, learning together. However, this does not mean 3 or 4 students getting together and dictating while one person types. Everybody needs to be actively contributing to the learning in this class. And I'm going to tell you this, every term, something happens on one assessment where I get identical assessments submitted. And I give zeros to those students, and it breaks my heart because sometimes they don't even realize, one of them doesn't even realize it's happening. For example, I'll give you something that I think you should never do. Don't email your work to each other. I know it seems like you're doing students a favor. You're not. Here's what happened just last term. I had a student who was working in a group with a few other students, and she had done her work, and then she emailed it to another student who missed that study group. Now, this other student was always in the study group with this first student. But she missed it, and the second student emailed to the first student the work that they had done on the last exam for the term. And the second student that wasn't there turned around and submitted the exam as her own. Now, the first one was done so well, it was beautiful work. I mean, one of the best exams I've seen in a long time. And then I opened the second students, and I'm like, wait a minute, I've seen this exam before. And the thing is, I'll know if you've done this. I can catch it. I gave them both zeros, and they dropped from A's to C's, and it sucked. It does. It sucks. I hate doing that, but that's what I had to do. So don't do that. Submit your own work. Make sure it's uniquely yours. It can be similar to somebody else's because you're working together, but chances are you're going to get slightly different answers anyway. So do not submit each other's work as your own, because I'll zero you both for that one. And please, let's not even do it. I hate doing it once a term. Let's make it 0 times a term. Let's make this term the first time. All right, that's enough of this. Let's go to the grading page next.